hello. Let me share some mind boggling knowledge with you. There are two kinds of people, good and bad, alive and dead. People who hate China versus people who don't. People who like work from home versus people who have got something wrong in them. People who made use of this quarantine period to learn new hobbies or skill versus people who are crying day and night on how they did not use this time wisely. Today, I'm gonna transition from the second category to the first category. I am among one of those who watch comedy of all sorts. First time amateurs, Russell Peters, or even Dhinchak Puja. In fact, I have been such a believer of Dhinchak Puja that 2 years back in my college, I single handedly spread the rumor that she's gonna go for a world tour and we should all go and buy tickets for that. Corona. Anyway, the quarantine has got some bad news for us. And all these top notch comedians from the bottom rather, are not able to post new content. Only these giant TV shows like Comedy Central or Saturday Night Live are able to post some content, and that too on a weekly basis. But most of these content is either mocking the work from home or how people are attending these meetings dressed only from their torso up. But no matter what, these shows have done something right. They are aptly named from day one. Their names convey about their bigger goal, and that is comedy. You know what's one of the biggest deal when starting a new company or taking a new initiative? It's the name. It's so much first about. So here I was deciding the name of our new team and listened to our first 5 suggestions. Land Slasher, Quartz, Starship, Eagle, Dragon. You must be thinking at this time that I was part of some fancy ass SpaceX rocket landing team. But no, this was just a team building internal HR tools. HR, let that sink in a bit. HR means everything but respect. In fact, in my previous company, HR was so looked down upon that they named themselves as PR, People Representative. Now, this would be an internal tool that will be used by HR. So, this is like HR Square.
Let's talk about benefits.
And pension, and pension.
And benefits.
But no matter what, we can't let haters bother us. We shoot for the stars as well. While going through some of these fancy names, I realized that day that most of us only watch sci-fi movies to learn all these cool names and technologies so that we can vomit all this knowledge irrespective of the relevance. Chewbacca. Goku. No one cares as long as it's cool and intriguing. And there were some of us who were abstract and some might say cute, comrade, connect, aloha. And we should have just stopped over there and named it something simple and boring like HR drive-through or HR internal.
Hello, sir.
But we went soaring. We started invading foreign languages. Booth Shaper, Priyatni, Tunch. There was no coherency in the name and our team. So we sought the help of one of the most wise guy. We started Googling. And now I was in for a good surprise. You might have used some online sites that generates a random word for Pictionary, or maybe a random number, or maybe a random name so that you can name your baby. It's funny, right? I just imagine that someday a daughter might be asking her mom on how she got the inspiration for her name. And the mom will just forward her the Medium article and ask her to read through it. But anyway, there are now company generator tools, and I was lucky I stumbled upon one of them. And it is super simple. In step 1, you decide the genre you like space or superhero or cyberpunk. In step 2, you decide the category, like the technology or the location within it. And step 3, which is actually optional, is you write a statement about your company or what your initiative is all about. And here it was. We got a perfect name for our internal HR tool that will be used to manage our employee. It is called a Muggle. And the 3-letter acronym that we came up is HRM. Now, it might sound that bad to you, but it was actually not compared to our peers. We have our leave tracking tool called as Thunderstorm. We have a supply chain tool called as Raven. And our cafeteria, which should just be named cafeteria, it is called Tigan Alley. In fact, the other day I was passing a tanning salon and it was called Black Panther. Anyway, I got distracted. I am Akash and I do jokes and comedy on myself. And when that's not sufficient, I drag my friends and their stories along. After all, हर एक friend जरूरी होता है. At the end of this, you'd leave with little to no respect for me. But that's sufficient because you wouldn't be the only one. Based on my delivery so far, it's nothing but obvious, but that I'm doing quite a few things for the first time. Like doing this comedy, speaking in English for so long, and dare I say fluently, and making a video. Now, except the last part, which was about making a video, I knew I was going to do terrible on my first try. But for video, I was pretty set. I had a decent phone that I'm using now to record this video. I have a tabletop on which I have kept my phone so that it's on the same level as my eye. I just had a shower and I just deleted the entire WhatsApp gallery so that I have the memory in my phone to record this video. But like every other aspiring YouTube content creator, I also wanted to make a good quality first video. And for that, I began researching on how to do that. And the internet is full of it. There are tips video, tutorial series, courses, micro degrees, and programs on how to just make a good first video. I filtered video based on their anticipated budget. In one of the videos that I followed, there were 8 mini parts on topics like what should the location be like, what should be my background, my clothing, how I need a tripod stand, how I need so many lights coming from all directions, how I need to paint the wall in my house, how I need to plant these trees, I need to get a facial, and I have already scheduled an appointment with a plastic surgeon. However, there was one part which I personally loved the most, and that was thumbnail. It's definitely not as easy as it sounds so. The ideal thumbnail is where your face is 75% of the image on the right side and the remaining 25% on the left should have any text or the ambience you want to be associated with. The remaining 10% on the top should be left untouched. I also took some photos for the thumbnails and this is how it came out. Anyway, I was told everything is excused when you are doing it for the first time. I hope this video counts under that. So in this quarantine period, I have been exploring way beyond my limits, as you can already witness. I have started planting and I have picked up one another very proud hobby, and that is acrylic painting. Let me show this to you. This is a portrait of a nice wave on a San Diego beach. When I showed this to my mom, she cried. Not in agony, but in joy. And it's not her fault. I have been that one guy in the entire school life who only knows how to draw a scenery. I will need a standard A4 sheet and my color palette is pretty basic. I'll need a brown for those mountains, blue for the sky and any river stream that might be flowing through those mountains, black for those V-shaped birds, and if I'm getting very orgasmic while drawing, I'll use green to show grass in the valley and red for bugs crawling in those grass. And that would be the peak of my creativity. In my life, I never needed anything more than those 12 color stick sketch pen. And it served me well. The only time I faced challenge when my teacher asked me to draw a rainbow, the whip gear. Now I'm super cool drawing the blue, green, yellow, orange and the red aspect of the rainbow. But violet and indigo, they were extravagant to me. They were a foreign concept to me. Even to this day, I couldn't distinguish between these two colors unless they are kept side to side. Anyway, my stick sketch pens did not have violet and indigo. But worry not, I found a solution. So on my this nice A4 sheet, I had all the red, green, yellow, blue and orange part drawn perfectly on top of each other. And for violet and indigo, I remember one of the learnings I had. I knew that unique colors can be made when primary colors are mixed. So on the top of my rainbow, I was trying mixing all the colors I had to get my violet and indigo. And I did get it. I got the perfect electric indigo and a perfect violet that made my rainbow one of the best in the class. Anyway, talking about the rainbow, maybe I should be trying painting a rainbow with my acrylic colors. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm starving for any feedback that you might have for me. I'll keep recording more if the quarantine period continues. Thank you.